Hi Audra, it's really nice to finally meet you, put a name to a face.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too.
So first of all, I want to officially introduce myself. I'm Sarah Miller, but you can call me Sarah if you'd like.
Okay.
Are you okay with me calling you Audra, or would you prefer to go by something else?
No, you can call me Audra.
Okay, great. So I'm really excited to work with you, but before we get started, I do want to talk about some of the nitty-gritty things. Please stop me if I'm going too fast or if you have any questions.
Okay.
So, first of all, everything that you say to me is kept completely confidential. The only other people that will know what goes on between us is the other professionals working on this case. This is just to ensure that we do provide you with the best care. Other than these professionals, no one else will know what's going on between me and you.
Okay.
I will have to inform you that I am a mandated reporter.
What does that mean?
So this means that if you do share anything and I feel like it is putting yourself or someone else in harm's way, I will have to report it. If I do feel like there is something that needs to be reported, I will let you know and give you the option to either stay for the phone call or you can leave.
Okay.
I also want to talk about the services that you will receive if you decide to continue sessions with me. So I do charge $50 per session. As we talk, I will evaluate how many sessions I do feel are necessary for you, but I usually start with clients coming in once a week for at least a month. You are more than welcome to come more than that if you'd like, but again, I will have to charge you that $50 fee. I know that times are tough with money right now, so I'm more than willing to help you figure out how you can get that covered with your insurance at the end of the session if you'd like.
Sounds great.
Okay, cool. So in sessions, I will provide a space for you to talk about things without feeling any judgment. These sessions are for your benefit, so I'm here to listen to whatever you want to talk about. I'm here to support you, help you set goals for yourself, and possibly have some self-growth. You are never obligated to come back if you decide not to. There are no consequences on my side if you decide to stop sessions. I'm here if you want me to be, but if not, that's okay. So after every appointment, I will have you schedule when you want your next appointment to be. So this is just to ensure that you don't feel any pressure to come to future appointments. If you feel like it's better for you to not schedule more appointments, that's fine. Just don't schedule another one. I'm here if you want my help, but I don't want to force it.
Okay.
So now I want to talk to you about our relationship. Because you are my client, we strictly have a professional relationship. The bond that we form is very unique because at times it may seem like I am your friend, but in reality, I am strictly your social worker. This doesn't mean that I don't value our relationship and I don't love to see you every week. It just means that our relationship does not go outside these boundaries.
So then what happens if I see you in public?
So that is a great question, and I was just getting to that actually. I like to use yoga class as an example. So let's say you walk into yoga class and you see me. So in this case, I will probably not acknowledge you and I'll treat you like any other stranger. I'll stay for the class, but then next week I would find a different yoga class to go to. I don't want you to feel like this is your fault. This is a part of being in my profession. Same rules go for anywhere else in public. Excuse me. I want you to be comfortable at all times, so I will not acknowledge you and treat you as a stranger. But if you do decide that you're okay to come talk to me, I'll gladly talk for a little bit. But I want to make sure that you understand that I won't be offended if you decide to not talk to me.
All right. I don't think that would bother me much, but I completely understand.
Yeah, and a lot of my clients do feel this way, but I just want to make sure that I treat all of you the same.
So what about social media?
So when it comes to social media, I have similar rules. If you come across one of my social media accounts and decide to friend request me, I want to let you know that I will have to kindly decline your request. Again, this is not because I don't like you, it's just because, my social media is for my personal life, and again, we have a professional relationship. And I don't want there to be any room for that to be blurred.
Okay.
So I know that was a lot to hear, a lot of rules, a lot of nitty-gritty stuff. I need to talk about this stuff with you just to make sure that we are on the same page. I follow these rules not because I don't like you, but like I said earlier, it's because it's really important to me that we maintain a professional relationship. I am really excited to get started with you and develop a good relationship. Before we do start, do you have any questions?
No, I think that all makes sense.
Okay, good. So, Audra, would you tell me a little bit about what brought you here today?
Well, I've been struggling a lot with everything going on with the coronavirus. I know everyone is, but I've just gotten to the point where I feel like I need help. My life just doesn't feel right.
Can you tell me more about what is making your life not seem right?
Well, so I travel a lot for my job. I'm a sales rep, and I'm used to being in my car all day going from place to place. Now that everything is shut down and I'm not traveling like I used to, I'm just not busy, and I just don't know what to do with myself.
Are you still working from home right now?
Yeah, I am. I make a lot of phone calls and I have a lot of conference meetings, but it just doesn't feel the same. I used to find joy in talking to all of my colleagues, but now it is just stressful and exhausting for me.
So it sounds like everything going on is affecting the business that you work for, and it's making work harder to enjoy.
Yeah, it really is. I'm not high up in the business, but from what I hear, there's a lot of financial issues going on. There are so many calls that I have to be on every day, and I just hate it. I'm used to going to stores, making sure that customers are served properly. Now I feel like all I do is listen to stressful calls about whether we can make it out of this pandemic without going bankrupt. I feel like one of the biggest struggles is that I felt like when I came home at the end of the day, it was time to rest from all the busyness. Now I feel like I'm not getting a break from all that's going on. I work and hear about the virus, then I turn on the TV and hear about it. It just never ends, and I'm getting worn out.
You know, Audra, it sounds like you love working, but now that everything has been stressful and crazy, hasn't been enjoyable for you. Have you been doing anything outside of work to help yourself relieve some of the stress?
Well, recently I've been doing a lot of yard work. I like to be outside a lot, and the weather's been nice.
That's good. I'm sure that your yard looks better than it ever has with all this time.
It really does. Normally I hate yard work, but it's been the only thing I have really done outside of work just because I want to be outside instead of being cooped up in the house.
Well, your tone makes it seem like you aren't too excited about yard work. Have you been enjoying it more recently, or does it still seem to be like a chore?
No, it's definitely still a chore. I hate it. I'm honestly just doing it because, one, it needs to be done, and two, there's nothing else to do.
And you know, it is really important to get these things done around the house, but what is also really important is to make sure that you are doing things that make you happy and you enjoy.
Well, normally that would be my job, but it has only been causing me more stress and anxiety with everything going on.
So, you know, Audra, right now I do have a lot of people like you coming to me and saying that they're struggling with happiness and purpose right now, and just everything going on with the coronavirus. And what I have found to help them is if they find one thing to do each day that they find enjoyable. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it would really benefit me to find something that could help me forget about everything going on.
You know, I agree. And I think that you started to do that when you were doing yard work, but you don't seem to really enjoy that. Do you have any other ideas of something you could do to relieve some stress?
Well, my kids are also home, and I've been wanting to do more with them now that I'm home more often and they don't have their activities.
That sounds awesome. You said that you really like being outside. I wonder if there's something that you could do with them outside.
Well, they love going on bike rides and to go to different parks close by. Even though I haven't rode my bike in years, I think that'd be something really fun to do with them.
Yeah, I'm sure that they would absolutely love that.
They really would, because I don't get to do stuff like that with them often. I could probably even take the day off and we could make a day of it. Maybe ride our bikes to a park, have a picnic, and then ride back home.
Yeah, would you be able to do that someday this week?
I think I probably could. I'd have to check with my boss, but I do not see any reason why he wouldn't let me.
Great. You sound really excited.
I really am, because I feel like I haven't made plans to do something fun in so long. With everything going on, I've been stuck in this groove and haven't done anything other than work.
You know, and that's very understandable. It's easy to get stuck in the grind of things, especially in times like right now. That's why it's really important that we make sure that we are doing things that truly make us happy and that we enjoy every so often. You know, we are about halfway through our session today. I know that you did talk about how work has been really overwhelming for you. Would you like to continue to talk about that, or is there something else that you wanted to talk about today?
Well, I also wanted to talk to you about my oldest daughter. We've been fighting a lot. She's 16 years old, has a boyfriend and lots of friends. I think right now she really misses them and is constantly wanting to break social distancing to see them. Obviously, I'm not allowing her, not only because it's against the rules right now, but also because my parents are living with us right now. With them both being high risk, I just don't want there to be any chance that they get exposed. And she doesn't seem to understand why it's such a big deal and thinks that I'm just being over dramatic. Seems like every day she asks to go see someone, and when I say no, it just starts this big argument.
So it sounds like there may be some miscommunication between the both of you. Have you tried to talk to her at all?
I have, but to be completely honest, I just end up yelling. I get so frustrated and have been so overwhelmed that the last thing I want is for her to be challenging me on the rules I hold for my house.
Yeah, and you know, you have every right to feel this frustration. Right now is a hard time for the both of you.
I know, and I can only imagine how hard this has been for her, because she went from seeing her friends every day to being cooped up with her parents. I'm not ignorant enough to believe that she wants to be around me all the time. She's a teenager, so I understand why she's frustrated.
It sounds like you're really understanding of what she's going through. I think that would probably be very comforting for her to know that you aren't just saying no to say no.
I agree. Thinking back on the times we've argued, I've been very short, and I haven't really talked to her like an adult.
Can you tell me more about what a typical argument you guys would look like?
Well, usually it would start with her asking to go visit someone, and then I'd say no. Then she'd usually say, why? It's not like they're sick. And I would usually respond with, I don't care, it's my rules. After this, we might go back and forth for a little bit more, and then she usually goes up to her room and ignores me for the rest of the night.
So, like you said earlier, I think that it would be really helpful to talk to her more like an adult. You know, I don't know your daughter, but I'm sure that as a 16-year-old, she may not be keeping up with the news like you are. So she may need to have everything going on explained to her in simpler terms.
Yeah, she does not watch the news at all. If that girl didn't have other people telling her what was happening around the world, she'd be completely oblivious.
Mhm. So, do you think that this week that you could maybe have a conversation with her about how serious everything going on is?
Yeah, I definitely think that I should. It may not completely get rid of all the arguments, but I feel like it could help make them not as bad.
Yeah, I agree. Why don't we practice this conversation? I'll be your daughter and you obviously be yourself, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, so here we go. Hey, Mom, can I go over to my friend's house tonight?
Honey, we've talked about this.
Yeah, well, Mom, she is not sick, so I don't understand why I can't see her if I know that she isn't sick.
I know. And I know that you miss her, but Grandma and Grandpa are staying with us, and I don't want there to be any possibility that they get exposed because they could die with all their medical issues.
Mom, I don't think that they would die. All my friends have said that this is just a common cold and that people are being overdramatic.
I know that your friends are saying this, and they are right to a degree, because for you, it would be somewhat like the flu. But because Grandma and Grandpa have health conditions, the virus would affect them a lot worse than you and me. Especially Grandma having asthma. She would not survive at all.
Really?
Yes. So, do you really want to risk them dying just to go see your friend?
Okay, let's pause for a second. So, I think that you've been doing a really good job so far. You've been really understanding of how hard this might be for her, while also explaining how serious this actually is. I do think that the last comment you made had more of a negative tone, though.
Yeah, I agree. That was my passive aggressive side coming out. I should have probably said that differently.
You know, and that's okay. We all have that side. What is another way that you could respond? Remember, the last thing I said was really?
Okay. So I think maybe what I could say instead is, yeah, they can. This is really serious for them, and I know they aren't showing it, but they're both really scared. I know that you must be really struggling not being able to see your friends right now. I'm sure it's really hard. Could you stay here to protect Grandma and Grandpa though?
That sounds really good. I'm really impressed with how empathetic you were.
Yeah, thanks. Let's see how it goes though when I actually talk to her and maybe get some attitude.
And you know that may happen. So what are some ways that you think you could prepare yourself if she does give you attitude?
Well, I'm usually one to just say the first thing that comes to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we always argue. So maybe before I respond, I could just take a second to compose myself.
That's a really good idea. Are there any other things that you could do before you even speak with her? I know we did a little preparation by doing this role play, but you know, I don't know your daughter, so I may not have responded exactly like she would.
Yeah, you were definitely a lot nicer to me. But I think that I could probably just take some time to run through the scenario in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that that would be very beneficial. I want to make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself though by thinking about it too much. Do you think that there is like a certain amount of times that you could run through this scenario?
Yeah, I do tend to overthink some things sometimes. I think maybe I could run through the scenario like 3 more times.
That sounds really great.
Wow, I feel a lot better.
Good. I'm really happy to hear that you were able to talk about some of these things that you're struggling with and make some steps to help yourself get through these times.
I agree. I already feel some weight lifted off my chest.
Good. Now we are almost out of time, but before we do end, I want to teach you a breathing exercise. Right now, you have a lot of stressors in your life. I know we didn't really get a chance to talk about your job, but you did mention it is causing you a lot of anxiety.
Yes.
I know I have not known you for long, but from our short conversation today, I have seen how hardworking you are and dedicated, how much you love and care for your family. You know, you are constantly putting your family first. This is very admirable, but I can tell that it can be overwhelming for you at times. I want you to do this breathing exercise anytime you recognize that you are just really overwhelmed and anxious. This will help you to hopefully relax and just take a minute break from all the stress.
That sounds really helpful.
Yes, so this breathing exercise is really simple. It consists of 3 deep breaths that last 9 seconds. You breathe in for 4 and then out for 5. You do this 3 times. You can do it more if you'd like, but I challenge you to do it at least 3 breaths. Do you mind if we do one together before we finish?
Sure.
All right, so close your eyes. Take a second to relax your body. Now breathe in for 4. Out for 5. In for 4. Out for 5. In for 4. Out for 5. Now open your eyes. How do you feel after that?
I feel very relaxed.
Good. So do you think that that is an exercise that you can at least do once a day until we meet next?
Yeah, I think I can do that. I may forget.
And you know, that's okay. How about we set a goal to do that exercise at least once a day? If you forget, you forget. I just want to make sure that you try to utilize this more in your life.
Sounds good.
All right, so we have come to the end of our session. Let's go over what we have talked about real quick. So at the beginning, you talked a little bit about how your home life has been hard and work has been stressful with all the craziness of the virus. You said that you've been doing yard work, but it isn't necessarily bringing you happiness. So we made a goal for you to spend time with your kids. You know, you said that you're going to take the day off and go for a bike ride and have a picnic at the park with them. We also talked about the arguments that you've been having with your daughter recently. We came to the consensus that this week you were going to have an adult conversation with her about why the virus is so serious. You know, we role played one situation, but you set a goal to think of 3 more scenarios before you did actually talk to her this week. You also said that if she does give you a negative response, that you'll take a second to breathe before you do respond. I also taught you a breathing exercise that I challenge you to do once a day. Is there anything else that you can think of that I missed?
No, I think you pretty much hit it all.
Cool. Do you think that all of this is manageable before our next session?
Yes, I think I can do them.
Great. All right, so will the same time and day work for you next week?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's plan on meeting next Thursday the 7th at 10 a.m.
Sounds good.
Well, Audra, it has been a pleasure to finally meet you and chat. I look forward to hearing about your progress next week and how everything went.
Me too.
All right, have a good day.
You too.